Hello, guys, and welcome back to ThisLife podcast with Felix Mayorca. I'm your host, Chris Cordova, and Matt Cordova is sitting right next to me.
Let's go.
I'm taking over the host seat today and interviewing these two guys. So you guys sit back, grab a Topo Chico, like and subscribe, share it with your friends, swipe up, and get your merch. Felix, what's up, dude?
Not much, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for joining us today.
Of course.
Matt, how you doing? You here from Louisiana? Ranger Matt. Aspiring Ranger Matt.
Oh, this mic, we gotta fix it. We're doing good though.
You good?
Always a good day.
Pull it towards you. Pull it towards you.
Pull it.
Mas, right there.
I don't want to pull the table.
Pull it. Just pull the whole thing. I'll hold it on this side.
Oh, there you go.
Shout out to IKEA.
Let's go. We're live.
I need better equipment, man. Folks, if you need video or photo, hire me because this obviously isn't working out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of ThisLife, a podcast by Chris Cordova. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Doing good, Felix. Thanks for having us, dude. Just happy to be here.
No, it's a podcast by Mayorca Media.
I see you every single day in the gym. How do you like the spot so far?
I love it. I want to personally thank you for allowing me this beautiful creative space. So thank you.
I want to also applaud you in front of your audience. I don't know how many people are watching this, but
Thousands.
you said that you were going to start working out like 3-4 weeks ago consistently.
Yep.
And you've been consistent.
Woo!
You show up,
Yes,
what, like
sir.
4 days a week? 4 days a week on average?
On average, 4 days.
8 a.m. class?
8 a.m. and 3.
What do you think of CrossFit so far? Honest opinion. Don't just like say it's good because you are doing it here, but
I like it. Like I love how this has turned on me. I don't know. I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not gonna.
You were.
Matt, I think I told you this. Even though I'm super ripped and people think that I am a bodybuilder, I wasn't getting results at 24 Hour Fitness. I was just looking okay. But like my fitness was like off. And then when I started coming here, I was like, oh my God, I'm working out next to like 50, 60 year olds and they're like shitting on me. So I love that. I love getting shit on by.
what's your goal with working out?
What's my goal?
Yeah,
Just
like
to be fit, not to die.
So how is CrossFit going to help with that? Like why CrossFit over 24 Hour Fitness, over bodybuilding, over running, over like just any other type of general fitness? Why CrossFit? Because CrossFit hurts. Like you're going to do a workout that's a little bit more high intense and it's going to hurt a little bit. So why put yourself through that instead of something else that's a little bit easier? Like I'm not going to say easier, just different, right? Like you're not mentally challenged every single day. You're doing a bodybuilding workout.
I don't know if that's...
You know what I mean, though? Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a physical challenge and a mental challenge when you're doing a CrossFit workout. Like,
Right.
anything that's higher intensity, you're going to get both of those. But, like, something that's more bodybuilding, you're going to get a physical challenge. Well, I guess it's mental, too, a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just a little different.
I'm just not bored here. Like I would go to a regular gym and be like, I'm going to do arms today. And I would do like 5 or 6 arm exercises. And I'd be like, all right, okay. And maybe I broke a little sweat. Let me do back now. And it was like, I didn't really ever have a plan. Whereas like here, I could just show up and like, you guys will have the plan for us. Not only that, it's like, I like the weightlifting aspect, obviously, because that's where like I started. But then I went to Orange Theory too, and I tried that, and it was like all cardio and very little weights. Like
How long did you do that for?
It wasn't heavy. Probably like 2-3 months, and then COVID hit, so I stopped. But yeah, they had like up to like 25, 35 pound dumbbells, and maybe like in like a 50. And even though I wasn't like, I'm not going to use those, I have the option here to use like an 80 pound weight, or like barbells. Barbell stuff's fun. But yeah, I've been telling people to come here. Like, it's not just the workout, it's like the community and stuff. And again, Matt, I was telling you this. Oh, before I continue, they're brothers. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've been telling people this. I'm like, yeah, CrossFit has that stigma of like everyone there's like a douche or like is too into it or it's too competitive. But here, like everyone's just trying to do their best, and that's all you can ask for. Like today, I was working out with, shout out Todd Newman. Dude's a beast. Like he was killing it.
How old is Todd? He's like 50 something, probably.
Something like that. Yeah. And he was like, yo, I was trying to, a month ago, I was where you are, and now I can actually like stand on my hands. So
Yeah.
that's great improvement. And I was like, dude, thank you. Like when you go to like a regular gym, like no one's gonna give you props or anything. It's, I don't know. I like that human aspect, and I think it's also because I work for myself that you don't really understand what it's like to work alone until you start working alone. I used to work for the city and like community services, and I was always around people and like laughing and saying hi and stuff. And then I started doing this and I was like, oh shit, I'm so lonely. And I'd like hit up my friends and be like, hey, can you hang out? And they're like, I'm at work.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I took the day off. And they're like, oh, good for you. But yeah, now this adds to it. So
I think that happens though to a lot of people after high school. It's like you're so used to going to school, high school, college, or even if you play sports, like you're consistently with friends and doing stuff with other people all day, every day. And like even during your breaks, you see your friends or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And like as soon as you graduate and you're kind of just focused on college and just getting school work done, or say you go right into a job and just getting your job done, you wake up, go to work, go home.
Right.
You don't really have that like community friendship. Like people, like I used to look forward to seeing my friends when I go to school. Right. This kind of gives you that element of like you're gonna go work out with your buddies and hang out at the gym and also do something that's gonna be good for you long term. So that's definitely I think that's a secret though for like long term. Just consistency
Success.
with working out, and just long term consistency with working out. Just because doing something with your friends is something that makes it something that you can look forward to.
You want some tea?
Maybe.
I got you.
Later.
Too much sugar.
100%. No, it's sugar free.
Yeah.
Come on, boy. Yeah, and we're also, I mean, we're primal. Human beings are we need to be in a tribe. Like since the dawn of time, like we were in tribes. And also with like COVID and all that, people found out how lonely it is. Like when lockdown first started, people were complaining about not having enough hours, being broke, working at home and being lonely. And I was like, dude, welcome to my world. Like this is what I've been doing for months. And it sucks. And that's why you need to find that different outlet. And you can work out here, but you can also like sit and talk to people after. You can stretch after. You can like little stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I've told you guys this before. Like you guys have created something really dope here. And I'm sure my followers and stuff are tired of me talking about it, but sorry. Eat it.
I got a question.
Matt, what's your question? While I pour you some iced tea, sugar free.
So, you guys may not know, but I don't really know Felix that much. Like, I've seen him, like, a couple of times around the gym, but, like, we never really actually talked. So, have you always been into, like, the fitness, like, world, like, before CrossFit or anything? Like, were you, like, I gotta go to the gym tonight after work? Or is it, like, kind of like, hey, I'm gonna go to the gym today, I guess. I have nothing else to do.
I think in college, well, I was always playing sports and stuff. Kind of.
What'd you
volleyball. I played football and volleyball.
Nice.
Here you are. Senor?
Sweet,
Oh, you
sweet.
have a... Do you need that opened? I got you. Yeah, I always played sports, so... Or I was in clubs, so I was always involved in something. Just right into the mic. So then I joined 24-Hour Fitness, and when did I join? I mean, yeah, to shorten the answer, yeah, I think so. It's never really been like something where it'll kind of start and then I'll kind of go down because I'll get busy and then I'll be like, oh, I fell off, let's do it again. So it was never really consistent, but yeah, I usually try to keep fit and stuff. I mean, before this, during lockdown, I stopped going to gyms and I just was working out in the garage. Mm-hmm. And while it was still working, it wasn't like as motivating as it is like being in a class or like in a gym. I think a lot of people are actually realizing that now as well. So yeah, I think so. Maybe.
What got you into like the media world?
This is turning into a Felix body interview.
I love it.
There's a round table. We go round table.
round
Yeah, there you go.
Little round robin.
Well, let me get this bottle opener. Tell me, before I answer your question, tell me what it's been like since you joined the Army.
Ooh, okay.
And moving to a different place. Because you've lived here your whole life, right?
Yeah. Yep.
What was that transition like?
It was good. Like, it was good to get away from home, like, get some life experience. You know, I really do believe you find out who you are when you leave your house. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
no one's there cooking your food. No one's there making your bed. No one's there.
Closer to the mic.
No one is there, like,
There you go.
taking your trash out, all that type of the little things that you don't notice when you're at home living with your parents. It's like, all right, my trash is getting full, and I'm the only one in this room, so probably take it out. Or my shoes are like right next to the door. I should probably put them away. So they do room inspections, by the way, in the military. So I'll put my shoes away so I don't get in trouble. But it was a good experience, like leaving for a little bit. But it also does suck, you know, being in Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana. It's horrible. The weather's terrible. But
Is it ever cold there?
yeah, it gets cold.
Like freezing?
I mean, it gets cold, not freezing, but it gets like
Like San Diego cold or?
low 30s.
Oh,
Low 30s,
damn.
yeah.
Does it snow in Louisiana?
It
That
actually
sounds-
just
cold.
snowed.
What?
30's cold.
Yeah,
when
it's
it
cold.
snowed in Texas, do you guys remember that?
Oh, yeah.
It
That
snowed in
blizzard.
Louisiana. Like, Louisiana snowed for like a week.
Damn.
Yeah. Where
Was
I
it as
at.
bad as Texas? The pipes were bursting and all that?
Yeah. I have a video of our, like, barracks just leaking water from the roof, and the rooms were flooding. It was crazy. And I wasn't there, actually. I was somewhere else. I was in Georgia at that time. So I was like, man, this sucks for everyone back over there. And I'm in Georgia, and, like, nothing. It's just, like,
Chilling.
cold, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, that sucks.
I have friends in Texas, and I made fun of them because I was like, "Ooh, it's cold."
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, "Oh, this is a
Yeah.
serious problem. Like the infrastructure's not made." I don't think people understood either. Like they were just like, "Ooh, you're getting snow,"
Yeah.
and like people from Michigan and stuff were like, "What's it feel like?" But it's like, dude, some people still don't have water, and like
Yeah.
some people still don't have power, or it's pretty screwed up.
There was a lot of accidents, too. Like, people didn't know how to drive in the snow.
Yeah.
Not saying I do, but people just start slide. Like, the road would be, like, slightly, like, slanted, and then people would be going and just right down the road.
Hydroplaning.
Yeah, and, like, a lot of ice, too. It wasn't, like, just solid snow, so
That's insane.
that was terrible. But back to the question, man. It's good leaving the house, you know. I was in a routine here, a solid routine. Like, I'll be busy, school, working out, CrossFit, and then pretty much coaching. So, solid routine. I'm like, man, am I going to be an Escondido my whole life? Oh, God.
Yeah.
So, but it was good leaving. That's another reason. People are like, why don't you join the Marines? I'm like, I'll probably get stationed, like, West Coast somewhere, because that's where a lot of people go.
True.
But I'm glad I left, get some experience, get out of the house, do something I wanted to do. I've always wanted to do at least, but never really had a reason. So I was like, you know what, this is the time to go. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Always wanted to do it.
How long have you been in now?
2 years?
Are you gonna
Yes.
renew after, or just kind of 4 and done? It's
I don't know.
it's 4 years, right?
3.5.
3.5.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm going to see how this year goes. We got some plans in.
Matt's trying to go into Ranger School.
Oh hell yeah!
But he's been trying to go into Ranger School for the past like year and a half. It's kind of been like this back and forth of like showing up to Ranger School and either not making it past the first week or like getting turned back around because of paperwork or just some stupid thing. And Ranger School's in Georgia. You're in Louisiana. But he probably not going to talk about it just because he doesn't want to talk about it. But I think it's important for people to see like the consistency and persistence of continuing to show up to something like that, because I think a lot of the guys who make it through like the special forces like or any type of thing that's hard to accomplish is like just keep showing up.
Right.
Like just even when you absolutely think that you're not going to make it, and just even if it's kind of going through the motions of showing up, just showing up is a big deal.
Yeah.
And I think this is what, like your 4th or 5th time going to Ranger School.
Yeah,
But like this is the 4th or 5th time, but you haven't had a solid
Shot.
run at it. And like Matt's one of the most physically capable guys and mentally capable guys that I know. So I know like he has that. So like if he gets a shot, hopefully he can make it. But I think like I would say like, you should talk about kind of because I'm
Yeah.
interested in it. Talk about like what it's been like mentally to not get it the first try or second or third and just continuing to be shut down. Like how is that? How do you stay motivated through that?
That's pretty. That's a good reason to not be motivated. Just be like, well,
And that's the
For most
biggest
people.
thing. That happens to everyone in my unit. Every single person. Not every single person. There's some that make it, of course. But they go one try and it's like, all right, I'm done. It didn't work out for me.
Mhm.
And I'm like, nope. But I kind of go through like what I've done in the Army so far. Like, so graduated basic training. It's June 6th of, I don't even know what year, 2019. So, graduated, went to Louisiana from Fort Benning, Georgia. Got there, was there for like a week, and I went to the southwest border in Texas. I did a 6-month like little mission detail over there, would help like border patrol, like pretty much have like more eyes and like more presence on the border because
Yeah.
there was having a huge problem over there, I guess. So I was in McAllen, Texas, Brownsville, Texas, and Del Rio, Texas. I was there for 6 months till December. I got sent back early. My unit stayed for a whole nother month, but I got sent back early, get ready for like Ranger School. So I was like prepping for Ranger School. I was there too, and I had to go to a thing called pre-Ranger course before it's called PRC. So I went to that end of January of 2019. It's a 3-week course. You pretty much just get smoked, and it was raining. Weather's terrible, and you're just getting destroyed. You're always wet, and no sleep. You're up till like at least 10 p.m. and then you start a next mission. You start planning for a next mission at like 3 a.m. or 2:30 a.m.
Oh, jeez.
And you're eating MREs, and it's just not a good time, you know. But
Yeah.
if you actually want to be a ranger, you have to do this pre-course before you go to ranger school and actually get like destroyed for like 2 months.
That's kind of how they weed people out, huh?
Yeah, because you're like, well, we started with 48 people or 52 people, and there was only 2 people, me and this other dude from Fort Polk, that went to ranger school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there was 3 other dudes from New York that went, but like it was a total of like 5 people that went.
That's insane.
Yeah, that was from the pre-ranger course. That was even at ranger school.
So you do that every time you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
imagine doing that 4 or 5 times.
That's insane, dude.
went to school, got kicked, and it's weird, man. I hate saying it because it was during the PT test. So the PT test for ranger school was 49 push-ups, 59 sit-ups, 5-mile run under 40 minutes, and 6 chin-ups. So I'm in line, pumped up. Everyone's like, you got to worry about the push-up test or the PT test. The push-ups, they will destroy. If your body's not moving in a single unit, like your shoulders, your hips are sagging, anything, you're zero.
out.
Yeah. And I literally banged out like 80-something push-ups. And they're like, you're a no-go at this time, Ranger. And you get a retake. So I'm like,
my gosh.
I was trying not to worry about it because I'm like, I've taken like 13, 14 like Ranger physical fitness tests to go before I even went there. I'm like, I've passed every single one, no problems. And I'm like, okay, I'm not worried about this. Everyone's like, just be worried. I'm like, no, I'm not worried about it. I know I can pass it. I've done it. It's whatever. And I failed the push-ups. I'm like, there's no way. I was so like shook and just mind blown. But you get a retake. So I waited 4 minutes, went to the retake for the push-ups, different graders and everything. And I did 49 on that 2-minute mark. You have 2 minutes to do all these events, by the way. So he's like, you have 10 seconds, Ranger. And I'm like at 46 or something. I don't know. And I'm going till fail. I just did like 80-something push-ups before that, prior to that. So, and I got like 3 left or something. And I did 49 on like that minute mark. He's like, Ranger, I'm giving you a go because you didn't quit. I'm like, I was pumped.
You're like, all right.
I was like, let's go. And so I go take the sit-ups, and I get put in the back of the line. So there's like a huge thing at Ranger School. Don't go to the back of the line because it shows you're unmotivated and they will fail you. So you have to like run to the front of the line. So I'm in the back. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm like, I'll crush sit-ups. And I go. He's like, go higher, Ranger. He's like grading me. I'm like, okay, I'm bringing my elbows in between my knees, like close to my ankles. I don't have the most flexible hips, but I'm going as high as I can go.
Yeah.
He's like, higher, Ranger, higher. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm just cranking them out, going. And after that, 2 minutes goes, I did a ton of sit-ups, and I'm like, okay. He's like, you're no-go. I'm like, no way. I was
the
like,
reason?
okay. Just didn't get enough. I had to get 59. But I didn't even know, I did a ton. Run over to the retake line again. I'm like, oh my God. He's like, the RI is like, what are you doing here, Ranger? I'm like, I gotta retake the sit-ups. He's like, well, get in the pit. There's a lot of cuss words in there. He's like, get in the pit.
Get in the pit,
So I
please,
jump.
sir.
Yeah. So I jump in there. He said, hey, come hold this guy's feet. So I literally, like, probably 40 seconds to a minute later, I'm doing another set of, like, max sit-ups for 2 minutes.
God.
So I'm going, and I stop at, like, 42 or 43, something there. And I just remember, I'm like, they're like, you're a no-go. I went till failure. Like, I was trying to go, and I was going, like, halfway up, and I'll just fall right back down. I'm like, this is the worst feeling ever. And they're like, all right, you're a no-go, go over there, and you get dropped from the course. I'm like, I stood in, like, a little box area with, like, other people that got dropped. There was, like, 50 people that got dropped or something, let me know. But we were there, and I'm like, oh my God, what just happened to me?
Yeah.
I was just, like, my mind was racing. I'm like,
It probably went by so fast, too.
The standing there was, like, the events went by fast, but when I was standing there, I'm like,
In eternity.
yeah, they're running their 5 mile, I'm waiting.
Yeah.
They're doing their chin-ups, I'm waiting, and I'm like, this is horrible. But I try to get, like, the bright side out of things. I remember, Chris probably doesn't want me to bring this up, but at regionals, his first time he qualified, the ring muscle-up event, the strict one, he got stuck on that one.
Makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Literally. It was
Shit.
horrible, man. It was horrible. And I'm like, you know what? I'll be back here. Like, I can't let this get to me. Chris had the whole, like, audience watching, people from the gym.
Yeah.
And, like, you get that feeling of a letdown, but no one was there watching me, you know? I was like, I can tell, like, people knew, like, my family, my close friends and all that, but, like, this guy had, like, literally the whole gym at regionals, like, watching him. So I'm like, there's been worse situations. I just gotta get the bright side and come back here, like, ready to go.
Damn.
Yeah, so that was my first time at school. And then I went back to pre-ranger after that.
Shit.
Literally a
You did it
week
3 more
later.
times, you said?
Yeah,
After
literally.
that first?
No, I did pre-ranger twice.
Okay.
And then a week later, did pre-ranger again. So the whole 3 weeks, got smoked, destroyed, whatever. Cool. Went back to school with the same paperwork I had from the last class. So let me rewind a little bit, but from before, I'm still like a brand new soldier at this point. When I went to ranger school, I was shook. There's officers there, captains, lieutenant, like higher ranking dudes. I'm like,
So you're like a tiny fish
I'm a
in the
puppy.
ocean.
Yeah, I'm little. I was scared. It's like when you see, like, you know, you're like driving to go somewhere, or like you're just so motivated to go to this one thing, like regionals. You like see the YouTube videos. You're like, this is regional. Okay.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
gonna be me.
2 years later, a year later, you're at regionals. You're like, holy snap! This is it. I'm here. This is like the floor. This is the audience around me. Like, this is it. It's
surreal.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I was like seeing like all the ranger banner, like everything. I'm like, oh, I do not belong here. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went back to pre-ranger and all that stuff. Went back and all my paperwork. So my school NCO, which is non-commissioned officer, which is like a sergeant, he's the one that's supposed to prep you. I was in the course. I have no phone, no like electronics with me, and he's supposed to take care of my paperwork. And I pretty much had the same packet after the pre-ranger course when I went back for the second time to ranger school. And all the like instructors, I couldn't even in process. They're like, this is like the same paperwork and all this stuff, yada yada. I'm like, I really didn't know what I was doing because they did it for me. I was brand new. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just went to go like do my job and do PT. Like,
right.
That's all. And everyone back like in charge of me was like, yo, why didn't you like fix this paperwork? They're all getting it like, it's not your fault. We're sending you back. And then pretty much COVID happened, quarantine, all that stuff. We quarantined for like 3 weeks. And all the schools in like Fort Benning got locked down. So like no one's like allowed to travel from like outside of Benning to like schools. If you're on station on Benning, you can still go to the schools, but anyone else, like, you guys are pretty much like prohibited, from the schools. So it's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I was so pissed, but I'm like, okay, whatever. And then rewind me to like what, 3 weeks ago I was at school? Something like that. I don't even know. It was like a month ago I was at school again. So what's the date? April? Went back to school in March of 2021. and I went as a walk-on student because that was the only way I can get on. Because I quarantined on Benning for 2 weeks. It was the worst time of my life. So I quarantined there for 2 weeks, and I walked on to school. So the best way to explain a walk-on spot is
It's like a
college. So you trying
Red
to get
shirt
into a
and all
class.
that. Yeah.
So you're trying to get into a class in college, right? And you're like, the class is booked, but I'm going
Gotcha.
to walk into a class to see if someone doesn't show up.
Right.
So same exact thing. I'm going into Ranger School to see, hopefully doesn't someone show up, right? And this is the most, like, all the RIs, Ranger instructors were like, this is the biggest class we've seen in the past, like, 2 years. It was like 497 students, something like that. And I'm like, oh my God. And sure enough, every single person with a hard slot to that class was there.
Showed up. Ah.
And I was like, from the start, I knew I was getting dropped. I'm like, I'm probably gonna get dropped. And 6 o'clock goes by, 7 o'clock goes by. I'm like, I might be staying.
Yeah.
So my mindset started to switch a little bit. Like, okay, you're gonna stay. Like, be ready to go. Like, you're going. 8:30. I'm like, all right, I'm done. They're about to get their food. 9 p.m. hits. We still haven't ate at this point. We got there at like 9 in the morning. In process, all those students, whatever.
And you're just waiting, huh?
We did a whole layout. So we have 2 bags we have to bring. Did a layout. It's like a ton of stuff. It's like 3 pages full of like gear and stuff. You dump all your stuff and you're getting destroyed. Just smoked. Your gear's flying everywhere. It's craziness. But we it's like 9 o'clock and like, all right, we'll line up and we'll bring food in. And then like 9:15, it's 9:30. Like, all right, we're dropping students. And I'm like, oh my God. I was so pissed. I just I just got smoked, about to eat, and I'm like, okay. And I was the second name called. I'm like, oh my God. I was so pissed.
Well, at least they let you know you were like the second one and not like the 40th or whatever. You're like, I
Yeah,
made it. And
yeah,
then,
you know,
oh,
like-
actually, and
It was like right off the bat. It's like, just ripped the Band-Aid right off. It's like, Matt, I'm like, damn it.
damn.
It was horrible. But now I'm going back to Ranger School April 24th with a hard slot ready to go, locked in.
Nice. How do you feel about this one?
Oh, dude, we're going. Nah,
It's gonna happen.
it's happening. This
you go.
is it, baby.
Manifestation, baby.
Yeah, but
I'm a huge believer in that.
it's hard to stay motivated. People are like, how are you still going back to Ranger School? Get all the time. I'm like, it's
Why wouldn't
something,
you?
it's something I really... One, it's like, I've always wanted to do it, and at this point, now that I'm in the Army and I've been in, it's like, I want to be a better soldier for my younger soldiers, you know? They're like, this guy has his Ranger tab, this guy is like airborne qualified, like all this stuff. So the more like I have on my resume, the more my soldiers want to be like, this is my team leader. This is the guy in charge of me, you know? Like, yeah, I have like credibility to look up to. It's not
Yeah.
just like some random dude that earned a spot up there or worked his way up. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
My brother actually just joined the Navy, and he was on a ship for like 6 months, 7
That's
months.
horrible.
Yeah, and during COVID, I guess it was the ship he was on. It was their last. They're gonna retire it or something, and they were supposed to make all these stops and stuff, and just all these beautiful places, and he was all stoked. And COVID, so they were like, "Yeah, you have to stay on the boat." Dude, how? There's just so many things I talk about, but
I cried.
but he's 29, so he's getting told by like younger kids what to do and how to do it. But he also kind of has that like, shout out to my brother because he's kind of a juggernaut, and he's always
Yeah.
like, if he wants to do
Thanks,
something,
yeah.
he's gonna do it. So he would just always be motivated, and like he'd be working out on the boat and stuff, and people would kind of see him and be like, then the younger guys that knew more than him would go up to him and like ask him about how do you like get your shoulders like that, and like like little things like that. So that leadership aspect, I think
Yeah.
that's huge. And dude, congrats for even trying again and again and again,
Yeah.
because that's pretty dope.
I'm a veteran for day 1, you know? Day 0, actually. Get smoked during the layout.
What does that mean?
I'm a veteran. I've been there a lot. I know what I'm doing.
You got it.
After week 1, though, I'm a brand new dude.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, let me go back to me. You asked me, what did you ask me? How I got in the media
Yeah.
thing. I did photography in high school. I always tell, actually, I don't know if I've told this on the podcast, but I told this, I was speaking at Orange Glen, and I got invited to like speak, and I told this story about me going to anatomy class, and Mr. Munson, shout out to Mr. Munson. Mr. Munson was like, if you fail the first test is the easiest. If you fail it, if you don't at least get a C, you should probably drop the class. So your boy got a D, and
Let's go.
I walk up to the class, and he looks at me, and he folds up. You know how they used to fold the paper, like, and he looks at me, and I go, "Can I go to the counselor?" And he was like, "Yeah, go ahead, grab your stuff." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I go over there, and Miss Guerra, she's like, "Hey, there's a photography class that it's the first year. They're trying it out. It's got like a test period. One spot just opened up." I was like, "I'll take it. I'd rather do that than anatomy." Hated photography. Absolutely hated it. I was really bad at it. And I even had like a really bad attitude towards it. I was like, this is stupid. Like, I was a high schooler. I hated not being good at things. And then one day it just kind of clicked. And I remember I took a picture of a pine cone and the back was all blurry. And I was like, oh, shit, I made it. I'm going to frame this. Yeah. And then shout out to my mom and dad, man.
Put that picture up here.
Yeah, dude, it's totally dark. It was rainy. I can see it right there. It's like a pine cone, and then it has a stem, and just the background was all blurry. And I was like, "Oh, dude, that's so sick." So then I told my parents, I was like, "Dude, I want to keep doing this." And my mom kind of saw that spark in me, and we bought my first camera, a little Rebel, off of Craigslist, and on and off I did it through college. But video, I think I started doing, I think a year before I graduated, because I was freaking out about being a history major and not wanting to be a teacher. So I talked to a bunch of different teachers, and I was like, what can I do? And they were like, you can join a think tank in Washington. And I was like, that sounds awful. You can do community services or like, what's it called? City government, which I was already doing. So I tried getting like higher jobs and stuff in city government, and I wouldn't get it. Those of you that are trying to get into city government, it's all politics. Sorry, it's who you know. Usually that's what it is in life, but city government, it's bad. And seeing kind of administrations and how they're being run and all that, and like listening on both sides, honestly. I don't want to get all political, but listening to people talking, and I'm like, what the fuck? Mr. Newsom? Listening to him talk, I'm just like, dude, you're a career politician. Like, you, in my opinion, I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? and just like, it's so frustrating, like seeing this pretty boy up there, like, I'm trying to get recalled. And let me go on a tangent real quick. He said, these people trying to recall me, they're right-wing extremists, they're this. And I'm like, no, I have liberal friends that want you out of there because you're an asshole, because you told us stay home, do this, blah blah blah, and then you're out in a restaurant hanging out with all your buddies, and well, I thought there were only going to be like 5 people. Well, why weren't you wearing your mask? Why aren't you 6 feet apart? Why? And you keep your winery open. You tell all the other wineries closed. Anyway, hate that dude. That's a career politician. I know so many people that are just like, I'm doing this job for 3 years, and then I'm getting the fuck out of here because I want to get a higher job, and then after that I want to get a higher job, and it's like they didn't care about community services. I figured, I was like, why would I keep doing a job that I'm just not getting rewarded for? So I started doing the whole videos. I got an internship. I did videos for City of Poway, and then I got better and better, and I finally was like, I should make my own, like I'm gonna do this. I got cold feet. I was working at the City of Coronado. I quit that, and I was like, I'm going in 100%. But then I was like, but I'll still coach volleyball. So I was doing that, and then I found out that like you can't really half-ass 2 things. So I was like, I might as well go 100% into this. And then COVID happened. Shout out to COVID.
Crazy.
But it like boomed. I met you guys during COVID. I met a bunch of different people during COVID, and I just kind of fell in love with it. Like I started calling myself a cinematographer because like I make ads and stuff, but I make them in like a like you're watching a movie. Like I want people to see Todd working out, but make it look like badass as hell. Make it look like an actual movie. When I filmed your guys's, whenever I film anything, I'm like, all right, how would like Spielberg do this, or like little things like that. So ever since I was a kid, I was one of those weirdo kids. I think I have something in my head where I was just like, well, if this was a movie, like what if like someone came in and I had to like attack them or something. I was like second grade.
I was watching the video you just posted in Big Bear. I'm like, dude, this looks like a commercial.
It does.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Really, everyone's like smiling, like, what was it, like Spanish?
We're all drunk,
Yeah.
but that helped a lot. It's called Drinks in Spanish.
Drinks in Spanish.
At Drinks in Spanish, go follow them. Buy their card. Yeah, it's pretty much just like it's like towards Latinos where if you ever get hit with the chancla, take 4 sips, and people are like, oh, yeah, there's one that I really love. It's go around the room and talk about different things in your house that were used as containers but aren't containers. So the cookie tin that always has
Coins.
sewing stuff
And coins, dude.
and coins. So you say that, you're like, okay, the tin was used for this. I think my mom used she's gonna be like, why are you telling people? But like sour cream, buckets, put grease in it.
Yep.
I think right now in my house we have a Tostitos, empty Tostitos thing that we put bacon grease in. So it's like stuff like that. So like Latinos they'll understand it.
Resourceful.
You're efficient.
Exactly. But yeah, and then hearing that stuff too, that when people are just like, oh, I love this, or like, oh my god, this looks amazing, that kind of like sparked it, and I was like, oh, I'm actually good at this, and I love doing this, and I love talking to people about what they're passionate about.
Yeah.
So I think the media aspect of it is dope, but the human aspect like is even better, and I've just been hooked ever since. I don't really see myself doing anything else anymore. So that's how I got into it.
That's awesome.
It's been tight, man. It's been a lot of fun. Chris, what have you learned since the quarterfinals? Ooh.
What have I learned since the quarterfinals of
Yeah.
CrossFit?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You're always at the drawing board, baby. You stay there. The drawing board. Is there.
I had
There's nothing drawn on it though. What's up with that?
I had a blurred expectation going into quarterfinals. I just didn't know how the field was going to play out. I have 2 guys that I've been training with all year, basically Josh and Dan, and Anthony and Conlon. But between Josh and Dan, I know what a good score is going to be, because usually between the 3 of us, we all kind of offset each other and have like weaknesses and strengths. And so I knew if I was going to be somewhere around them, I would do pretty good in the workouts. And we all did the workouts. I think I did good for me on all the workouts. Really happy with how quarterfinals went. I think quarterfinals was a new fun way to go about the CrossFit like season, just because it allows you to do more workouts in the gym with the friends and people you train with all year, versus it being like just the open, going right into regionals. Because in the past you would do the open, go right into regionals, and it was either you made it to regionals or you didn't, and you're kind of cut off after the open.
Right.
Whereas quarterfinals kind of gives you something to train for that's a little bit more than the open. So for some people who are kind of on the bubble or on the fence of like, hey, I want to get into competition or I want to go to the CrossFit Games, I think quarterfinals gives you like an extra stepping stone of like, if someone walks in here, which happens, like they're like, hey, I want to compete in CrossFit, and we can be like, okay, like let's get ready for the open and let's make your first goal to qualify for quarterfinals. Right. And then like, let's just see how you do at quarters. If you do well at quarters, you make it to semifinals. If you do get to semifinals, you make it to the games. But kind of going back to my thing of like how I think I did good for me. I placed 300 and something in North America.
That's awesome.
They take the top 120 to the next stage with the semifinals.
Right.
That's 100% my goal next year. When Matt says going back to the drawing board, it means kind of just assessing what I did last year, and as far as training is concerned, and working on the things that I need to work on. It's basically the things I didn't place so hot on. Whatever my most amount of points were, I'll basically just kind of hone in on those things and really work on them over the next year, and hopefully that pays off and you make it a little bit higher on the leaderboard and qualify for the next step. The good thing about quarterfinals is that you really get to see, from a programming coach standpoint for CrossFit, competitive CrossFit, you get to see framework. So if you look at the 3 open workouts, they were mostly lighter weight, big picture. They're mostly lighter weight, lower level skills, entry level skills like pull-ups, chest to bar pull-ups. And then the higher level skills you usually have to earn, meaning if you look at the last workout in the open, it was toes to bar, chest to bar, bar muscle up. And it's kind of like a progression on the pull-up bar where you go from a toe to bar, which is usually an entry level skill. People go knees to chest and toes to bar. And then if you can do a pull-up, then the next skill is chest to bar pull-ups. If you can do chest to bar pull-ups, the next skill is a bar muscle up. But the bar muscle up wasn't until the deeper part of the workout, and you basically have to earn that. So the fitter you are, the further you're going to make in that workout, and the more reps you're going to get at that.
Think about that.
So the weights were also really light. I think we had like a 95-pound front squat and thruster, 50-pound dumbbell.
Yeah.
And then the first workout had no weight. It was double unders and wall walks. So from a framework standpoint, they said they're going to keep this format. You know how to train for the open, which means you're going to train more high speed, very fast, head down, grunt work type of workouts, where it's not really going to be a workout where weight's going to be a limiting factor and kind of holding you back on a barbell. It's usually going to be more about speed and just kind of, can you keep going? So that's going to be more lungs and cardio and engine. So from a training standpoint, you got to make sure that's dialed in, because say my goal is to make it to semifinals, I can't just train the skills that are going to be at semifinals. I have to make it to semifinals first. So that means I need to get ready for the open. So you got to get ready for the open, which means good cardio. Now, if you look at the quarterfinals, which just happened, from a framework standpoint on programming, this is just kind of what's going through my head. Like this was really heavy stuff. So it was like a 4 rep max front squat, a 185-pound power snatch, GHDs and pistols. And then I don't know what the other workout was. What was the other workout? Handstand push-ups and dumbbell cleans. But for the most part, the separator between all the workouts was how heavy can you go on your front squat, and how well can you move a heavy barbell with the power snatches. Because everyone who made it to quarterfinals was really good at the lightweight, really fast moving stuff, and they proved it through the open.
Right.
So they made it to quarters, right? But then you have 140, 150-pound guys who move really fast through bodyweight stuff, now struggling with the higher weight and higher volume loading of work. But in true CrossFit fashion, usually the best people will get to the big show. So if you're good at everything, then you should have no problem with bodyweight stuff, with really good cardio, maintaining a heavy weight for a long time, right? So at the end of the day, the people who are the most well-rounded will make it. And I think so far between the 2 tests that have happened, open and quarters, the right people are moving on to semifinals. I wish I was there. I think if we had a team, we could definitely be there. But now I'm curious to see what semifinals will look like, because we can kind of pull some data from the workouts and see what type of skills are working on there. So once we have that, you can kind of make a program over the next 9-10 months as far as what to work on, right? Like, you're going to see these type of things at this time of the year, so you can kind of train, peak for those specific things throughout the year. It's kind of what goes on through my head when I program workouts as far as training is concerned. That's competitive CrossFit, though. That's not like everyday healthy CrossFit. Competitive CrossFit is
way different.
It's a little different. I wouldn't say it's as healthy, just because injuries are going to happen when you're competing in any sport.
You guys also, the volume you're doing is just like, I watch you guys through the winter. I'm like, you guys ever just take a break? I think I told you that one time.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you look at Dan and Josh, I think they're taking the next 2 or 3 weeks off.
Nice.
And I would consider them competitors. Matt Fraser talks about taking like a month or 2 off at a time. I personally just love working out. Like, I love moving. I love sweating. I love hanging out with friends and working out. Like, I don't care what it is. You can be doing burpees. You can go for a hike. You can just do something. Like, I want to do something. I'd rather work out than feel good and feel like I'm making myself a better person than sit down and watch TV. Like, not that I don't sit down and watch TV. I still do that. Yeah. But I can sit there peacefully knowing that, like, hey, I did everything I could with the time I had.
Jesus. Well, it's like this podcast. People are always like, well, what do you want to get out of it? And I'm like, I just want to fill my time with something. I like talking to people.
Yeah. I
like understanding people's stories and like where they came from, why they are the way they are. And that's just what I fill my time with. And it sometimes it's like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little burned out from it. But I'm like, no, man, keep going. Like 1 year, I'm giving myself 1 year. And I have, like yourself, I have like different things on the drawing board where I'm like, okay, if in a year, it doesn't really suit me anymore, I'm going to turn it to this. Or I'm going to, this life will still continue, but it's going to go on to something else. Something that I'm kind of noticing with you both is you're like working towards something. And even if you don't go there, you're just kind of like, all right, let's do it again. Like next.
Well, I was just saying, it's just like keep showing up. Like you say you feel burnt out. Like there's days where I don't feel like working out, but you just start moving and just show up and go. And I want to say 9 out of 10 times, I 10 out of 10 times, when I get done, I feel way better than when I started, and I'm happy that I did it. Like, and I rely on that 100% of the time when I don't feel like doing it, knowing that, hey, if I just start and just go, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes, I'm gonna feel better.
Right.
And every single time, never lets me down. Just try to remember that.
The thing about consistency too, like I said on I posted a thing on my personal where I was like, I lost 15 pounds in 2 weeks, which I just looked. I know, yeah, I looked it up. I was like, that's not healthy. I was at a caloric deficit. I'm not gonna lie, because I've never done CrossFit workouts, so it was like burning all this fat and stuff. And yes, I was feeling good and all that, and I'm still eating fine or whatever. Anyway, that's not the point. I lost the weight. I stopped drinking, and I drank on Saturday because it was my friend's birthday. And yesterday, I was just like, I feel like ass. And I told Kaylee, I was like, dude, I shouldn't have gone on that. I didn't go on a bender, but I called it a bender just because, like, just dead, like in a ditch. I got like terrible sleep. I ate pizza and beer, which is terrible for you.
It's Babe Ruth. I know it's beer and hot dogs. That's what it was.
Hot dogs. Oh. Yeah, and then I had
the Bambino, dude. The Bambino did it.
I gotta be tougher.
Baby Ruth.
But yeah, I felt like shit on Monday, and I think that's in a bigger spectrum. If you're not consistent with anything, you're gonna feel like crap.
Yeah.
And you're gonna want to quit. So congrats to both of you for being.
Just show up.
For consistency.
Yeah, show up when you don't want to show up. I think show up when you want to show up.
I'd be thankful for CrossFit, to be honest, with all that Ranger stuff. Because before I joined, like, how long did it take? I think my first individual event in CrossFit was Waterpalooza. How long? Like,
which is
2 years? It's in Miami, a CrossFit event.
For like 2 years.
2 years before I went? Yeah, I was like literally working out every day for like 2 years with this guy and Zach Perkins. And I was kind of just chasing these guys the whole time. I was a young buck. I was just chasing them the whole time. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to do Waterpalooza. I was a teen at the time. Did that. And I qualified for the individual one. And that was like my first event. I'm like, it took 2 years of just thrashing myself.
Working out.
Like conditioning in the morning, doing sessions afternoon. And then like right before we go home, like we look at each other like, are we going to work out again? It's like, all right. Yeah. No, all right. And then we do something again. It's like constant working out. And I'm like, same thing for Ranger School. It's like, you get pushed down or you train for something. It's just, you can always go, like, always keep training. Like, I've learned just, like, you just got to keep driving on. Like, that's all it is. If you're actually wanted and motivated, you'll get it.
Yeah.
So.
That goes for anything, though. Like, whatever you want to get good at, if you just apply that type of work ethic or mindset, whatever you want to call it, to whatever that is, like, you'll accomplish what you want. It's just going to be a matter of time. Like, and you'll be better off from it. Like, you had me on the podcast a little bit ago, and like I tell you, like I didn't pass the physical fitness test in high school. I skipped every single workout in high school that I could. I never showed up to the weight room up until like my senior year. I got really into working out, and like now I own a gym. Like I couldn't picture myself not working out. It's just something that I do. But like once I started doing CrossFit, I was like, hey, I'm actually like pretty good at this. Like let me see how far I can go. Or at least I felt good, like I was good at it. I was like, let me see how far I can go. So I was like, okay, like what type of competitions can I get into? And that's when we found like CrossFit Games and regionals and all those type of things. And then it was just a matter of like me trying to find local guys that were doing the things that I wanted to do, and just watching closely and being like, okay, what are they doing? Like, okay, like, and now with like YouTube, you can do that with anything. Like you can
cooking.
You can have access to these people, like they're your friends, like Rich Froning or like I don't know, some sort
Sam
of
the cooking guy.
Sam the cooking guy. I don't know any, like, but you know what I'm saying? You can kind of like watch these videos in detail or listen to their podcasts and kind of get into these people's minds and see how they think and do things and operate on a day-to-day basis. And like there's your blueprint on whatever it is that you want to do. It's just like study these people, see what things are doing day in, day out, and just do those things consistently. If it feels like a job to you, then you probably shouldn't do it. Like if it feels like a job and like it's like hard to hold on to doing whatever that thing is, then move on. Or maybe give yourself a fair shot and then move on. Because if it feels like a job, then it's not going to last long, and it's probably not what you're passionate about. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's huge. Like if people who are competing in CrossFit or doing whatever it is, if it feels like a job and you're showing up every single day and just dragging your butt just to get in there and work out, then don't compete in CrossFit. Maybe you like the idea of competing in CrossFit, but you don't actually like it. Like move on to something else that you're passionate about and put those hours in towards whatever that specific thing is. Because if you're going to work your butt off towards something, like let it be something that you actually want to do. Like right now I'm really into golf. I'm having fun with it. I'm not good, but I want to get better at it. So like
you and I have gone to the range. You're pretty good.
No, so I want to get good at it. So like today I coached the 5 a.m. class in 6:30, and I had like a 2-hour gap in between. I was like, okay, I can go home and take a nap for an hour and come back to the gym and get some work done, or I can go get a quick round of golf and just work on my swing. So I literally went to the golf course real quick just to work on my swing. But it's just that type of like that mindset of like whatever it is. Like if I want to buy houses I told you I want to get into real estate. Like I can spend 2 hours on Craigslist or Zillow or Redfin and just literally call people, just get reps in. Like there's no substitute for time on ranger school, media stuff, like whatever it is. Like I don't know, I can go on. I'm not trying to motivate
100%.
people, but like that's what it is like find something you actually want to do and spend time doing that.
I mean 100%, dude. What do you want to add something?
So back to like loving what you do. It's not, don't make you feel like a job. Is a little side story. Me and Chris literally slept in the same room for till I left.
21 years.
21 years till I left for the army.
That's
Slept
crazy.
in the same room.
How far apart are you guys in age?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. That's crazy. Twin beds. But when we got into like the CrossFit era, when we started like competing, it was like workout, school, all this stuff, coach, workout again, all this, eat dinner, go back home, eat dinner, and then it's like you laying in bed, YouTube, CrossFit videos, and we're just like, this was every night thing. Like we just loved it.
Yeah.
I still do. I still look at YouTube videos, like what's Rich doing, all this stuff.
But then
And
it's
it's
like studying. It's like you're watching what these people are doing that are doing the things you want to do.
Steal their
Right.
workouts, all that stuff. Like, oh, it's a good workout, I'll do that tomorrow. Because we like program for ourselves for like, 3 years? I don't even know how long we programmed, but we just, every day, we're like, all right, what are we doing today? Write something up every day. But
Did it ever just like, was there ever a moment that you remember, either of you, where it just like clicked, where you're like, oh, I got this? You know what I mean?
Regarding what?
Just CrossFit in general.
Regarding like I got it like with like, hey, we consider ourselves like competitors now, or consider ourselves like, hey, I get CrossFit, I get how to program, or what is
How
it?
to just, I mean, whatever. When did it like? Because I feel like once one thing clicks, then the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. Like if it clicked, programming clicked first, then you were like, okay, and now I know how to program for a competition, and then you're like, oh, I just did my first open, it clicked. Next, and then it kind of You know what I mean? I feel like, for example, with me, I'm not very good at, and people have hired me for this, but I'm not very good at like, I think photography is my second thing now that I'm good at, but I've been doing more and more, getting more reps in, and now, like, sometimes even during a shoot, I'm like, oh, damn, I'm getting good at this, man. And my clients are like, isn't this your job? And I'm like, yeah, but you know, now it's clicking. And I see photos that I took maybe last year, 2 years ago, and I'm like, these are shit. And then I'll see, I think I did it at when I was doing Paula's maternity shoot. I was at a maternity shoot, and I normally don't really do those a whole lot, but I did it for them, and I was like, oh, I'm good. Like, I'm good at this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you guys ever have a moment where it was just like, click?
I don't really think. I think it was my last year.
I think for Matt, it would going back to maybe. I mean, he can probably speak on this, but I think when you actually made it to Wadapalooza.
Yeah, the first year, that was like, okay, like, this is, I know what I'm doing, you know? I was like, I'm not in the beginning stages. I'm not like, how do I row? What's the proper technique for this?
Right.
What's the technique? I know how to do all the movements. I'm just not like super good, you know? It's just reps and practice at this time. Like, I qualified for Wadapalooza. I was like, all right, this is it. And then just kept training from there. That's all it was. After Wadapalooza, it was like just more time handstand push-ups, more time handstand walking, more time snatching.
Yep.
It was just all that. And then programming, it was just Chris and I, like, literally would just bounce ideas off. He's like, we'll, like, write something up, like, structure, and then, like, no, this would be better here, this would be better here. And then, like, all right, this is it. We'll go do it. And
Puzzle
then,
pieces.
Yeah, usually the morning sessions, though, were, like, more, like, endurance stuff, just cardio.
For me, I think I would say the moment that it clicked of where, like, kind of felt like I had a good handle on things was 2014 Open. No, 2015 Open. 2015 CrossFit Open. I felt like a good handle on CrossFit just because in 2014 I placed, it was my first CrossFit Open, I placed 293. And
That's really good.
I was like, okay, like and some people might look at that and be like, oh man, I'm so super far out. But I looked at that and I was like, I see where I'm getting a lot of points, and I see the things that the guys are doing that are qualifying, and I see what I need to work on. I kind of just saw it from, like I said, like a big picture perspective of like, okay, like I can take these three things and really hone in on them and get good at them. And if I'm capable of getting this score on this workout, if I work on those things, then I'm going to place here next year. And that's when I set the goal of like, hey, I want to be top 40 in the region in 2015 after the 2014 year. And that was coming off of 290th place. And I was like, okay, if I work on these things, I should be able to do it. And I programmed for myself according to what I'm talking about over that next year of like, I want to work on these things all year. These are the things I need to work on. Boom, boom, boom. Come to the Open 2015, I got 35th place because the top 40 will put me in a qualifying spot for regionals. But that year they changed it to, they're like, hey, no longer top 40, we're changing it to top 20.
Oh, God.
But that goes back to being like what Matt's saying as far as like, how do you stay motivated when you are getting, you show up to Ranger School and they tell you, you have the wrong paperwork, go back.
Yeah.
Right? You did everything you could to be ready. And I was like, I did everything I could to be ready, but then they changed it to top 20. But I was like, for me, it was more of like a pat in the back of like, hey, what you did last year worked. And that's kind of talking about what you did where I felt like I had a good handle on stuff.
Yeah.
Of being able to read a leaderboard and where the rest of the field's at and being like, okay, like these are the little detailed things I need to work on. Let's hammer those. And this is the first time this year since then that I feel like I have once again a really good handle on the leaderboard as far as being able to be like, okay, I need to work on these details to be better and be in that 120 next year.
Right.
So now it's just a matter of staying healthy, motivated, and actually doing the work. That's it.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
I think to just kind of stay consistent. What's that like to? I don't want to say fail, because I don't think it's a failure. Like, you guys made it so far.
It is.
It's a failure, and I'm not afraid to say it's a failure, and I'm not afraid to fail.
Hold on, before I shit on you.
No,
you work towards this goal, and again, I'm trying to kind of not alienate the audience by just keeping it with CrossFit. for me, it would be like shooting a wedding. Weddings are a year out. They hire me. I show up to the wedding. Oh, I forgot my lav mics. What do? Improvise. Oh, I forgot this. Damn it. I go back to the computer, and I'm looking at the footage. And I'm like, I didn't get the bouquet toss. Where's the bouquet toss? I didn't get the. And I'm like, dude, that's one of the. Oh my god, I'm freaking the fuck out. I had a year to think about that, and when it goes by so fast, what's that like to like this whole year? You're programming, you're eating, you're working out with all your buds, and then you get there and you're like, I wasn't good enough, quote unquote. And same with you with Ranger School.
Good. That's all. No, it's kidding. It's like, I don't know, man.
Jocko
Good.
Willing.
Yeah, no.
Have you heard that?
No, like
Jocko Willing, baby.
You trained hard, right? You failed. All right, get back up. You can be mad at yourself for however long you want, but at the end of the day, the life is still going on, right?
Yep.
You gotta just get better. That's it. You can only go up from there. If you're really motivated, you can only go up.
I think for me with the whole failure thing, I'm not afraid to fail. I'll go. And it's kind of like it's a blessing and a curse though, because like sometimes I'll do something that I'm probably not supposed to do and actually fail at doing it, and it could be a detriment to whatever I'm doing. Like in business, I could take a chance or that doesn't pay off, and it could affect not only me but everyone here.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's a blessing and a curse. But regarding CrossFit and regarding like working your butt off towards something and failing and coming up short, it goes, as cliche as it sounds, it goes back to what did you do to control what you can control. Literally, like, no, that's just, you hear that all the time, but that's real. Like, that literally give you the example of the 2015 regionals. I said I want to be top 40, right? Or I want to be top 40, because that puts me in a qualifying spot.
Yep.
And I was 35th, but they took top 20 because they changed the rules that year.
Yep.
So like does it suck that I'm not there? Yeah. But literally my mindset, and I can remember thinking this, I was like, okay, like I hit my goal. Good job. You did what you could have. If you continue doing what you are doing this year and you get better, you should be top 20 next year. Because if we have constant progression, you'll make it there next year. And if I'm in this for the long game, which I think that's another mentality you can talk about, is like playing the long game with everything and not trying to get everything in the here and now.
Right.
It's like, if I'm in this for the long game, then this 1 year shouldn't make a big difference in the grand scheme of things, because I plan on doing this for a long time.
That's the thing, though. You can also plan all that stuff. Like, oh yeah, I want to do this like forever, right? But if you, at the end of the day, it's like, if you don't love it, you're not gonna last.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
With anything.
Yeah. If you don't love what you're doing, you're not gonna last. But
Paula and I opened up a gym in
Miramar.
Yeah, well, I forgot what year it was. Was it 2 years ago?
Oh, you forgot the name of the.
No,
the
2
town. I was
years
like,
ago,
it's Miramar.
and we had to close it in June last year.
Yeah.
Was that a failure?
Yes and
yes
no.
and no. Like, yeah, in terms of like, on paper, we had to close the location down because it didn't work out. But no, in the sense of like, I probably picked up 3, 4, 5 years of school experience within that year and a half window of learning how to deal with 2 separate locations, learning how to work better with people, because I have Paula now, who I didn't want to let down, and I wanted to be there for with whatever questions she had and help her. And I learned a ton from her, just on how she has managed the gym in the past, and took away a bunch of things from her. So like, was it a failure? On paper, monetary, yes. From a learning standpoint, absolutely not. I would do it again, like 100%. The experiences that I had and the people I met and the things I've learned from that are things that I would 100% do it again for.
Nice.
Yeah.
I remember talking to her about that after.
Yeah.
I was like, are you okay? You know, and she's like, yeah, it's fine. You know, it's business. And I was like, I was like, I would go on like a 1 week binge and just drink. And
so that's the thing though. But like
give me all the carbs and stuff. Like,
you get immediately caught up, and I think it's like your human nature to get caught up on what other people are going to say or think or do about you failing on whatever that thing is. But like, if you look at your close proximity of family and friends and really only care about the things that they think about you, then it shouldn't be a big deal. Like at the end of the day, those people will still be there for you regardless if you're doing that one thing or not, right? Like and they're not going to think anything different of you for failing on whatever that thing is. And I try to really like focus on that and not like the Instagram reality of how things will look, and like be like, hey, what's Matt or Kaylee or my mom or dad or sister or whatever going to think about these things. And like if I feel like I did something to let them down in that regard, then I can be a little bit mad at myself. But if it's something that's like other people that are just going to be critics are going to be mad at, then I don't care if I failed. Like,
yeah, true.
I don't care what you think.
Because you're not coming home with me at the end of the day. You're not.
Yeah.
You're going to sit there and you're not living my life.
Yeah.
That's true. Real quick before I go to you, let's take a little break because I have to go potty. And then we'll wrap this up. If you guys are good with that?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right, we'll be right back. I might go to the farmer's market and get a...
I'm going after this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll go with you. You're like, oh, I didn't want...
Yeah,
I didn't ask.
All right, you can go, I guess.
Get some kettle corn. So bomb. What was it like growing up with each other? Were you guys close?
Yeah.
I heard rumors
What are they?
that you guys weren't very close. That Kaylee had to tell you to be nice to your brother.
You told me to be nice to my brother?
Yes.
Other
Is that
brother.
true? You guys have two brothers?
No.
Or you have two
told me to be nice to him.
Oh, you to him?
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Yes.
What was it like? Tell me.
What was it like growing up together?
Comedy.
Because you guys have a sister
Yeah,
too,
it's funny,
correct?
man. Everyone's just playing around, goofing off, you know? Like, it's just, we were very active, always outside doing stuff. Whether it was playing catch in the front yard or having baseball practice or whatever sport we're playing, or going to a baseball game, or...
There's always someone there, you know? It's like...
Yeah, and we lived next door to our grandma growing up, too. And then when we moved here to San Diego, we lived in Eagle Crest, like San Pasqual Valley. Was like a gated community on a golf course, which means like there's just freedom. Like you literally get home from school, go to the park, play basketball, play hide and go seek, go ding dong ditch, go like TP a house, or like do all the things that you dream of when you're a kid. But we had like different groups of friends. Obviously, we're in different classes, so we didn't do much together. We saw each other in passing because all the kids hang out in the same spot. I would say we didn't become really close until we both graduated high school. No, his probably senior year, where we actually started doing things together.
That's when you started doing CrossFit.
Yeah.
Yeah, end of my junior year, going into like senior year, I started doing CrossFit.
And then like Matt, like we started getting close, started working out together, and then with the gym, he kind of when I didn't have business partners anymore, him and Kaylee were just like right hand man. Like we built this thing up from where it was to what it is now, and got it basically going to where it was like a steady machine and kind of like go on from day to day without us having to make too many changes or feel like it's gonna fall apart any second.
Right.
Basically got it to the point where it was stable, and then that was a whole experience in itself. But that's what it was like growing up. It was great. It was fun. Always trying to do something new and have fun with whatever it is. That was my
What was your experience
with it.
Matt's like, it was terrible.
It's horrible.
You ever beat you up?
This guy?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Gentle giant.
Gentle giant.
That's good.
He was too slow. He was a bigger dude.
I was fat.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Big boy?
Hot Cheetos and Slurpees after school all day.
Dude, remember that?
Yeah.
And now if we do that, dude, just remember food.
I remember.
His fingers are still staining to this day. Permanent. Permanent.
So red.
Dude, my brother and I would come home from school, and we would make just bowls of chips with nacho cheese on it, like Doritos. Like we would have probably one of those little cans, maybe for 3 days, and then we'd have to get a new one.
Disgusting.
Just, dude, oh my god, can you imagine like my bowels now with that stuff? Like, I have hot Cheetos, and I'm like, oh, I have heartburn. I gotta go get a Pepsid. Like something like that's insane. Shout out to you though, hot Cheetos.
Yeah.
Hot Cheeto fingers. No, what was it like though?
It was good. Man. I just like literally. So before we moved to San Diego, it was like we're younger. Always
Where were you guys from?
NorCal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. There you go. Look at
Where in NorCal?
that. Bay Area. Yeah.
Hyphy movement. You ever heard of the hyphy movement?
The what?
You ever heard of the hyphy movement? Hyphy movement.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we're part of that.
What?
Yeah.
With the crumping and all that?
Yeah.
That's
We're part of that.
sick.
Yeah.
Mac
believe
Dre.
it.
You know who that is?
Mac Dre
Yeah.
from the Bay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
E40.
E40. Yep.
Yeah. We knew of E40 in like the 90s, before he was on the radio in the 2000s.
Damn.
We were like 4.
Yeah, the Bay had
Let's not talk about
Oh,
it.
go down.
not a resurgence, but is that the word? A resurgence? They had all these rappers come out at like, I think it started with E40, and then he had his little crew, and then the newer guys like G-Eazy, they would look up to E40 and all those dudes, and then they made music together, and
It's crazy.
so cool. Damn, that's when did you guys move here?
I was in the 3rd grade. What were you in, like
2008?
6th grade?
Why here?
2007?
Yeah, 2007.
I mean, why not? But also,
We we had a family friend that we lived with in NorCal, and they would always drive up or down here, and they ended up moving here. And then once they moved here, we would come visit them all the time. Literally, we made like hundreds of trips. I don't even know how many trips we made driving. A lot. But we would always come down here, and then like, all right, let's just move down here.
that's
And it's
crazy.
All right, we got a house like kind of by them, and then yeah, we've been here since then.
Let me get like deep and philosophical and kind of like high thoughts right now. Imagine, and I want everyone at home to like think about kind of one time in their life that like they either loved or they hated. Imagine you didn't have that family friend. Imagine you didn't have those trips down here. Imagine like one little
like,
thing.
Where would we be at?
Dude,
Yeah.
isn't that crazy to think about? Like I'm constantly like, I'll be showering and be like, just like something like, oh my god, imagine if I never got that first camera. Imagine
I always think about that stuff.
That's insane.
But I think that you can kind of look at whatever your previous friends were before that and get an idea of where you'll probably be around, because that whole like your circle of influence of people is usually what you end up being like is very true, 100%.
if you're the
So you can kind of see what my friends and family were doing currently and have a general idea as far as kind of like what I would be doing. Definitely not doing what I'm doing right now.
yeah.
And I love what I'm doing right now, so I wouldn't like, I don't know what I'd be doing.
Eating hot Cheetos?
You'd not Cheetos and Slurpees after
Yeah.
school.
Probably wouldn't be working out.
Absolutely not. I for sure wouldn't be working out if I didn't move down here.
That's insane.
I feel like this SoCal is so much more active. Like the weather's always better here,
Yeah.
and like you're always outdoors doing something. And growing up where we did, like I tell my friend, like my best friend to this, I'm like I'm so thankful I grew up like in that gated community. Literally, you run around, be like 10 o'clock at night, 9:30, but like you're in like a safe area,
Yeah.
so safe. But
Your parents knew where you were.
there's a pool in there, hot tub. Everyone would just be like, would go to like the park area, and you would meet like other people, and you just hang, like just always hanging out, messing around.
That's cool.
Like, all right, we're bored. Let's go. Throw a at your house. I don't know. Let's go run on the golf course. Let's go like, just mess around, do just hooligan stuff. But yeah, it's crazy. My best friend still lives there right now, actually, and I always go there. I'm like, dude, we had the best childhood, man.
What is
growing
he?
up-
He's like, congrats.
He lives in DC right now, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, he was there from Iconic, Baby Iconic, when it wasn't even a thing yet.
Damn.
Yeah.
Something that like, get Christian on you, but something I've always prayed for since I've been like a little kid. I can remember every single night, dude. Every single night.
Christian
No,
on
like
you.
seriously, like
Okay.
I've prayed about this every single night, is to like always take the steps towards the people and things and conversations that are gonna help me progress forward in life, not only for myself but for those people that are around me, right? So
Right.
like, I always pray every single night that the next day, whatever I do, I don't know what those things are going to be, or who I'm going to meet, or what opportunities are going to come my way, but whatever those things may be, like I just pray that God will put me in a position where I'm around people that I'm either going to help move forward, or they're going to help me move forward, and or the opportunities are going to help move the gym forward, or whatever that thing is. Like I've literally prayed that since I was like 5. I can remember. I don't know what it is. I don't know what made me do it, and now I think it's a habit.
Yeah.
But I still do believe it when I pray it, and I think that everything that I've done up to this point, I'm super thankful for, and I've met some really interesting people, especially through the gym, that I've been able to either help them or they've helped me, or like you just see how these little things in your life are working if you look back on it. Definitely not everything has been positive, but I try to look at those things. I know.
I think that also kind of comes with, I don't want to say fending for yourself, but when you hit this, like, I work for myself now, or I'm starting something, that's because I didn't have that mindset until I quit my job. I was still hanging out with, like, people that would go to Pounders on, like, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday. It was like, oh, whatever, I have work tomorrow, but I don't start till 8. It's all good. And now I'm like maybe I'll do that once a year, and maybe I'll hang out with my shithead friends once a year. But then I have a group of friends, and I was telling my girlfriend this because we're all kind of in the same group of friends. They live in Coachella Valley. Two of them, one of them just got, they call themselves the Sexy Six because it's 6 friends and they're all couples. And we're just like, I think they call us season 10 because we're the characters that showed up the later seasons. But they have like houses. They've bought houses. They have gotten married. One couple just got engaged, and I'll sit there and like we'll talk about. I had a conversation. Shout out to my friend Lupe. I had a conversation with him about like drinking and stopping drinking, and he's like, yeah man, I did it for 75 days. Like I stopped, and then it just kind of became a habit. And he's like, I remember drinking one IPA and I was like, whoa, or double IPA. He's like, I got tipsy, man. I was like, it's crazy. But yeah, just having like actual conversations, not like, hey, remember in high school when like that's all fun and games and stuff, but it's exhausting, dude. Do you guys still have those friends that are like, remember in high school when blah 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 blah? And you're like, yeah, so what else are you up to? And they're like, just work.
Yeah,
dude.
No, 100%. I definitely have a I don't know. It's weird because I feel like sometimes I do that, but in the sense of like I have nothing else to really talk about with them because I'm so disconnected.
Yeah.
That's maybe the only thing that we have in common, or I still want to keep that relationship because like they're my friends and they're still important to me.
Right.
But I don't know exactly what they're up to day to day, so I can't like vibe off of whatever they're passionate about. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing we can't talk about is the memories from high school. But I definitely know what you're talking about, where you kind of feel like you're in a conversation and it's not like really going anywhere.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, what's the point of this thing? And
as shitty and elitist as that sounds,
yeah,
it's just like, oh yeah, you're still talking about the old days. Well, what have you know, what are you working on now, man? I always try to like, what gets you fired up? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, man, if you don't know what like gets you fired up, like find something. And I think I haven't like I don't want to say inspired, but I've pulled that out of some people because they're like, dude, you started a podcast, like that's crazy. And for me it's like whatever, like I just bought 2 microphones, I'm talking to people. But they're like, that kind of made me want to do something too. I'm like, dude, do it.
Yeah. And
then that they kind of have that barrier of like, I don't know, maybe, and then they finally do it, and then boom, we can move on. Like, I don't want to say like move on with our relationship, but like, yeah, we can have a conversation of like substance. Yeah, like I feel like this has been nothing but substance. Yeah. I hope
pure substance,
dude.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Think about this conversation; it's all substance. So,
take some notes.
Well,
highlighter.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you for being on. This was amazing. This was actually Matt's idea.
Let's go. Great ideas here, baby. Only.
He just woke up.
Substance.
I got a question, though.
What's your question?
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah, that's a question I've been asking myself.
I know. I can see it.
For the past 5 years. I know I can see it.
That's a good question, now.
Right? That's a great question. Yeah. Honestly, I've had a little bit of baby fever. I know someone's listening and they'll probably be like, but like, I don't know. Hopefully with a family. I know 5 years is very soon, but I just kind of want that. I feel like I have right now in my life, like I have kind of a lot to give, and I kind of want to have just like a little mini me that I can give to. And I think just building a team, like a media team, a small media team, but where I can just kind of go out and check on them and tell them, hey, shoot this. And they're like, okay. Or we have this client on Saturday. Who wants to shoot it? Us. Cool. You and you go shoot it. So I think those are the two main things. Probably a family and that. It's kind of scary because this is so unstable. Like I got paid $200, I think, in January. Like that was my income. But then February maybe is like a bigger year. And like that instability is just, it's always kind of messed with me, and I'm kind of getting used to it now. But maybe getting used to that.
That's part of it. Like I've paid a few $1,000s a few months to keep the gym going.
Yep. Yeah. It's yeah.
Matt, what do you see yourself?
What about you?
5 years?
Yeah.
Oh, let's
Last
go.
question.
Okay,
Besides being a ranger.
Oh man, besides that, so I got 2 roads, right? Let's say I get out of the army, do my time of service, hopefully be a cop. People are like, oh, it's a hard time to be a cop, but man, that's what I love to do. Like I want to give my life serving for this country and other people. I love helping other people, so that's what I want to do. And I want to start I have a lot of knowledge in like tactical stuff. I really do. Like I believe I do. If I go to like the law enforcement side, I'll ask them questions like medical stuff, and they're kind of like, oh, I don't know. Like I really don't know what that is. And I'm like,
you should.
Weird, yeah. But I really have a lot of knowledge because I love what I do. So I want to start like a programming of like maybe like kind of CrossFit, kind of bodybuilding, like a hybrid thing. I want to do that, and I also want to do like run classes at like police departments, like little stations, run little like side classes, like maybe like some jiu-jitsu or just like kind of like DTAC, which is defensive tactics.
Like Tim Kennedy.
Yeah, same thing kind of, but like a little bit more local, and just have my own type of program for that.
Yeah.
Hopefully start that up.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think also getting regular people to know guns are a thing, people.
Yeah.
People have guns.
Yeah.
You know, how to use them, how to disarm them, I think that's I don't know how to shoot a gun.
Yeah.
I've always been like, I should probably learn.
I'll show you.
Got you. Dude, show me, yeah.
Yeah, kind of close. Yeah, a little bit more angle, more tilt. Yeah.
Kill shot.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. No, yeah, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, pretty much.
No family or anything?
I don't know yet. I'm still thinking about that one.
Do you have
It's hard.
Any hyenas out there?
No. No, I don't. It's hard right now. It's a hard time to have it's family right now.
Yeah.
I'd say that. We'll see though. My generation's too soft. I don't like it.
That's another topic.
Yeah, I'm not going there though.
I agree. I think I agree.
Yeah.
It's true. We get I don't think we listen enough.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I started this, because we don't stop and listen.
Yep.
And we just kind of like, what are you? No, now I'm mad. I'm gonna post on Instagram and then forget about it in a month.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It's hard though, but like we'll see. I don't know.
What about you, Chris? 5 years. 5 year
5
plan.
years.
5-year plan.
Send it.
I'm gonna give you bullet points because I have a dog that's barking over there. It's basically like a child. Needs attention. But 5 years, man, I should have thought of this while I was listening to you guys, because I was listening. I was just genuinely listening to where you guys want to be. 5 years, family for sure. Definitely want some kids. I definitely see us having probably 1, 2, maybe 3, probably 2 in 5 years. I just like I think it'll be fun to have some kids and go to baseball practice and watch them build up and hopefully teach them what I know. And it can be boys or girls. I really don't care. As long as Kaylee's happy and we're happy and they're healthy and it's all good. But definitely family. Still have the gym for sure. Don't know. I'm always have a new idea every 5 minutes. Maybe have another gym in the next 5 years. I want to start a product business for sure. I don't know if that's gym related or non-gym related, but I definitely want to have like a product that I want to start. I want to continue competing in CrossFit for at least I see myself doing in the next 5 years, competitively. And I'm been really into real estate the last like 3 years. So my goal was to always double the amount of homes that I bought out of state. every single year. So last year I got 3. So that means this year I want to get 6. So the year after that it's going to be hopefully 12, and then double that to 24. And like I said, I kind of hear these stories and podcasts of these guys getting a lot of homes out of state and building up a solid portfolio and business around real estate and like some cash flow income producing properties, not in California, but out of state. And that's definitely something that I've researched and been into the last like 2 to 3 years, and really and genuinely enjoy doing, and researching and looking into that. And that's definitely something that I want to do.
You've already like
doing.
bought and sold a couple homes, right?
Yeah.
That's, I mean, we're talking about having people that have accomplished stuff. Like, I always like talking to you because I remember when you're like, yeah, I just bought 3 houses. I was like, what? Like, what? That's great. And you're like, yeah, it's pretty easy. And you told me the bullet points. I was like, that's badass, dude.
It's not easy, but it's just like everything else. If you have fun with it, then you'll find a way to get things done.
If it clicks.
Yeah.
Once it clicks.
I'm passionate about it and I like it and definitely want to do it. But that's a business I want to build. I want to buy have a portfolio of like 50 to 100 homes, which is totally doable. I know people have like thousands. And then make them like turnkey properties where you have people with money who want to invest their money into real estate but don't necessarily know how to do it. But I want to provide them with like a turnkey house that has like a tenant in it and it has income producing assets for their portfolio or their long-term retirement, because someone who owns a business doesn't really have a retirement that's set like myself.
Right. So
I got to build that on the side, and through this real estate is how I'm doing that. And hopefully Kaylee and I can be secure and backed up long-term through that type of stuff. So this is the reason why I'm doing it. And I think there's a lot of bad landlords out there, and I think if I can be a good landlord and respect these people who are out of state and in any way, shape or form give them some sort of like hope or light in their day, then that's what I'm there for. I've heard of people like buying presents and buying full-blown Thanksgiving meals for them and like
awesome.
The families that are struggling. If that's something that I can do, then I'll be more than happy to do that. So like I said, just have a bunch of ideas with it. Just got to actually pull the trigger and do it, and hopefully it works out for the next 5 years.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I got one more thing to add in that.
Had it.
Next 5 years, I will be competing in the CrossFit Games.
Boom.
And then we can close the show off by asking the audience, where will you be in 5 years?
Oh, I have to think about that. But while you think about it, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. Subscribe on Spotify, iTunes. Tell your friends about the show. If you tell at least one friend, that's going to be 10 people instead of 5. Just kidding. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. I appreciate you coming on, making the time. As always, you can follow me at Mayorca Media, MayorcaMedia. Where can they find you if they want to?
Instagram, Matt_760.
You can find me at Iconic Fitness, 237 East Valley Parkway, Escondido, California. Just drive by and say hi and come get your sweat on.
There you
go.
Or
Instagram, Cordova 15.
And come say what's up to me in the back room. That sounded weird. Thank you so much for listening. See you on the next one. Bye.